All right, back to work on the 950. I just finished putting the water pump in the 302, another video, if you want to catch that. But I cleaned up the wedges, wire wheeled everything, anti-seize on the inside of the cast center where the wedges go against. And on there I got new bolts. I need to do some measuring to figure out exactly where I'm setting this as far as width, and then I'll be trying to put this back on. My only fear is where the chain is going down to the cast center. It might be in underneath the fender, so this is going to get a little interesting. So I'll just have to figure that out. Well, I'm going to be at a pause on this because I got to figure out how to get the wedges in there. And another problem I have is it looks like they've added this hydraulic line at some point. The tabs are broken on that filter. I need to get the filter and I need to get a new line in. I think it's going to be a whole lot easier to deal with that before I get the cast center and the tire back on there. So something I didn't count on, but I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's going to really be tight, and I'll be probably pretty mad at myself if I don't take care of this before then. But one of the things that happened when we bought this tractor, or when we picked it up, Joe pointed out it was missing those 4 bolts. Those 4 bolts hold basically the whole steering in the front end, and it's gone on both sides. That is, they had a loader on this, and all I can figure is they pulled the loader off and didn't think to put those bolts back in. So I cleaned out the threads on that side and just started those bolts. I'm going to clean out the threads on this side and start these bolts, and then I'll tighten everything down. I just don't want anything to shift and make the other side hard to do. So I'm going to do that now, and then that'll be taken care of. And I probably should have done this before I did anything else, because that would be real bad if anything shifted up there. So that's it's kind of where I'm at for today. I think it's been a productive weekend. Man, I am like, I need to go have a beer or something. I can't talk today. So this is going to be an ongoing project, but I want to get the gantry out of the way because I want to get the Jetstar back in here, because it's supposed to rain in a couple days, and I don't want the jet sitting out. It's not very fair to the jet, the workhorse. So we'll continue this here in a couple days. All right, I came home tonight and I figured I might as well work on this cast center a little. So I got out the cherry picker, figured I could hold it up doing that, and I did get it lined up. Started my bolts, but not all my bolts wanted to line up. Some of them were at kind of an angle. So I just had to keep playing with it, and after I got it, well, I had one that wouldn't thread in, so I had it drawn up a little bit. I ended up taking all the bolts out, kind of spinning the wheel a little and put it back in. I was able to get it to line up. So I've got it drawn down. It might not be, my gap is a little bit wider there than it is on the other side, but I know that after you drive these a little bit, you need to retorque those. So I'll do that later. But anyway, I set it in. Obviously you can see the distance to the axle. I measured, I think the tire is going to be about here. I'll have 3 or 4 inches of clearance between the fender, as you can see, opposed to the other side where I have a lot more space. A lot of axle there, no axle there. So I definitely want to get this set in a little bit. So I used new bolts, new washers around there, and yeah, it was an experience. It was heavy. I think right now I'm going to go around and clean up all the threads on there, so that when I get the tire mounted, I can just put it back on there. But I don't think my tubes are going to be here till Friday, and I might be going out of town for a week, so it might have, but at least I got that much done so far, and feeling pretty good about that. Not bad for getting home from work and doing a couple hours worth of work to get this project continuing moving on. So until I can get back out here and do more, that's where I'm at. before I head in for the night, I wanted to bring up two things. So I was using the Milwaukee mid impact there, works great. It's a really good tool, but for doing this heavy work, I had to go to the Ingersoll Rand air impact, which did a much better job. I was kind of heating up the Milwaukee, and it was quite a bit on there. So good old trusty Ingersoll Rand did it. The other thing last night I mentioned is that this housing is broke, and it's actually the tabs that stick up are broke off on the underside of there. The filter's back here, doing some research today. That is placed in the wrong position. That should actually be placed in front of the axle. And there's actually a stud there that the bracket goes onto. And then this fitting right here goes directly into that side of the filter housing. So the filter sits right here. Then there's a steel hose that goes down, underneath, and back, which it's for the 3-speed filter, and that goes back when you follow this hose around, kind of goes up, down, around, and then back here into the pump housing, or I think that's the pump for the 3-speed. So anyway, I just wanted to point out that this is in the wrong position, being on the back side here. So working on getting the right pieces to put it back where it should go, eliminate that hose that's going to be dangerously close to the rim and the tire, and clean this up and get it. I got to change the fluid in this anyway. It's going to be expensive, but it needs done. And that hose is not in the best of shape anyway, so it needs to go. So just a real quick update on where that's at. All right, tubes showed up today. I aired them up to make sure they would hold air, and I got one of the painted rims in here, which I think turned out fairly well for the paint that I used, and no more work than I did cleaning them up. Paint seems pretty hard. It's been 4 days. I've got the tire here. I just used this cream, which is not wool wax cream. It's, I guess, one of my subscribers thought that my using dishwasher fluid, which is my coined phrase for dishwasher soap, was kind of funny. But anyway, they gave me this really slick, greasy type stuff to try, so I'm going to give that a try tonight. Put this tire on the rim, get the tube in it. I've got the plug in the other side. This rim has 2 valve stem holes in it. It has a top one and a back one. I'm going to put my valve stem on the outside, and yeah, get this put on, and then try to maybe get it put on the tractor tonight. I kind of changed my mind. I wasn't going to do that because I'm going to have to mess around with this 3-speed filter here, move it around to the front. But I think even after I do that, I'll have room to get everything done, and not be too pinched in there. So that's what I'm going to work on. All right, I got the bottom bead on, and I put the tube in. So I'm putting the top bead on, and I'd kind of forgotten how hard it is to get an old tire on a rim, but yeah, it's not a lot of fun. But I'm gonna work my way around on this top. Put a little weight on each side. And voila. This side was a lot easier than the other side because you can get weight on it and help push it down. So it's on. Now I just need to air it up, stand it up, and then do my next one. And it's a nice cool evening tonight. I'm glad it's nice and cool because I'm sweating, and it's like 66. Can't imagine doing this when it was 90. Oh wait, I dismounted when it was really hot. All right, sometimes in the middle of the night I wake up with crazy ideas. So I was wondering how I was going to get this on here and get it on here safely. I thought about, what about if I put a ratchet strap around the outside, use the cherry picker and move it up there close and kind of work it on that way. Well, kind of worked out pretty well. I've got it on there. I've got 2 of the clips already started on. I'm going to put the rest on here, but I was able to get it up pretty close and get everything lined up and then just kind of very carefully work it on so I didn't shake up the tractor too much since it's on the jack stands. And yeah, it's on there. I'm gonna tighten this down and then I'm gonna mount that other tire, but I think I'll still have enough room once this is mounted up. Still got a pretty good gap in there to work behind it. Well, after further consideration of the evening, decided I'm not going to mount that other one tonight. I just put the tube and the rim over there because then I'm going to have to roll it outside because I'm not ready for it, because maybe tomorrow evening, not exactly sure, I'm going to try to take this one off. So this one's really rusted. I think this is not going to be an easy one. Gonna get the wedge lock out and then lift it off and probably take it outside, cut the tire off out there, and then maybe just let it sit for a bit and let it soak until I can mess with it more this weekend, because that's going to be it's going to be a job. I'm just as I'm talking, I'm thinking about what that's going to be. But anyway, then remounting the tire on that other good rim won't take very long. And when I get all this put back together, one thing I'll probably end up doing at some point is just taking these rims and tires back off and painting the cast centers maybe next summer, and I'll do the front wheels and the white band. I'm going to try to polish this one up and save the yellow, but the white paint never fares very well on these. If you know Molines, you know that, and that's why the 302 Pro paint, I did that. I polished up the yellow, painted the white and the black, and painted the wheels, and turned out pretty good. Pretty nice original that I can still use and not worry about scratching everything up. I want to try to do that with this 950 also. So that's I think that's, I'm going to clean up some more stuff tonight and then live to fight another day. All right, now I got those out. I already cleaned these threads out. All right, she's loose. Now she's really loose. And you to get a hammer and a chisel to get those off. Or a punch. Guess it doesn't really matter. But I think a chisel or a pry bar is going to make that a little easier. And a bigger hammer. Secret here is to do this in a way to catch this so it doesn't smash my feet. Like that. Oh yeah. Those things are a little heavy. All right, I'm gonna have to move the camera so I can get the tire out of there now that I've got it hanging. This is where the gantry is super handy. And I don't know why the chain fall's not rolling on the gantry. All right, so we're clear. Now I just need to move the whole gantry out. I'm going to roll it out to the edge there so I can get the loader on the tire and rim so I can take that out in the gravel, cut off the tire, let the fluid that's in it drain out into the gravel rather than into the barn like the other side did. Cut all of the tire off, then put the cast center and the rim back in here on the concrete so I can heat and beat and hopefully get that center out of there. And then basically everything we did on the other side. I don't know how much water's in this or calcium or whatever. There's a lot, because when I picked it up with the jet kind of said, ugh. And I've picked up some heavy things with the jet, and it doesn't do that very often. just find out where the water level is. That's one way to drain it. So I'm not cutting real close up to the rim on this one because I found on the other one that rubber gets thicker and it's harder to cut through. So I'm going out on the sidewall a little more. And then when I use the angle grinder, it's easier to, I can just blaze right through. The steel cords on the bead are a little difficult, but it's not terrible. The good thing is this part of the gravel in front of my shop should not have any weeds growing in it anytime soon. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's why it weighed quite a bit. There's a lot of water in there. I did find a place to put these tires. A buddy of mine built a shooting range at home, and he's been using tires as on top of dirt to absorb his bullets. And I said, hey, I'll cut these tires in half for you, and you can easy to handle, and they should absorb a lot of bullets. So he's more than happy to take them off my hand, which is a good way to get rid of them. There we go. Get rid of all that crap. And then to drain the very bottom, well, the other one was able to cut a slot straight down. similar to that. Yep, I don't like calcium, not at all. So I'm gonna guess this cast center is stuck in that rim much more than the other one was, just because this is the one that was leaking the calcium. This is the one that's got the rim that's just basically falling apart around where the valve stem was. So I'm gonna let this continue to drain. I'm gonna cut the other side, get the tube off it, or the tire off it, and then lay it back in the barn. Well, cut off the beads, get it back in the barn, and heat and beat. All right, then got both sides cut, most of the calcium out. It should pretty much drop off here at this point, but the tube I think is holding it up because the tube's a mess. I'm gonna work the loader here and see if I can get it to drop off. Well, that worked. Cut it off. Now I'm just gonna try to get a knife and cut the tube off. Then I'll bring out my angle grinder and cut off the beads. All right, it's a good thing I didn't bring you through for this process, because I heat and I beat and I heat and I beat, didn't work. So I decided to cut the rim down. I cut the rim down, then I torched the rim, then I cut the rim all the way through. And the minute I got it all the way through and got a wedge in there, the center dropped out, which I should have done in the first place, because as you can see by the big hole in this rim, I wasn't saving it. So I don't know why I didn't just cut it off in the first place, but I just wasted an hour and a half of my day. So note to self, if you're not saving the rim, cut the rim off, move on. So now that I've got it off, I can clean things up. While I was doing this, I cleaned out the threads in there so I can keep moving here. All right, I used the cherry picker to bring the cast center back over here. That thing is very heavy. And I've got my wedges on the floor. I've got never sees on the insides of those to go on there. I've already cleaned off my axle, and I kind of cleaned wire wheel a little bit of the outside of that, but I'm going to wait till I get it drawn up on there, and then I can spin it and clean out the rest of it so it's nice and smooth. There was quite a bit of rust scale on that. So the hardest part about this right now is getting everything set with the keys in there, and then getting the key in the right place on the cast center there. But I'm about ready to go through that whole process, so we'll see how this goes. All right, I got it lined up, and again I had problems lining the bolts up, but as I've worked it on, they've kind of lined up. So I'm going to keep bringing it forward just a little bit at a time. Well, I had to stop. That was Oliver Phil calling, and he was working on our trailer. We might go get the A4T tomorrow. So it was worth stopping to talk to him to, yeah, hopefully we can go get that thing this weekend. All right, back to tighten this up. All right, I think you're probably tired of listening to the air gun. I need to do some measuring. Right now, I'm using the old bolts. I'm gonna get it up to where it needs to be. I'm gonna take all these out, put my new bolts and lock washers in. And that last time helped everything line up better. So that's what's next. Bolts in, got it kind of tightened down. I can't do much until I get, if I get the tire on and roll it around some. I'm gonna clean up the threads on those, and then I need to mount my tire. So then once I mount my tire, I can put it on, tighten everything down, and then thank goodness this project's done. All right, got the tire mounted, got it put on, got everything tightened down, other than I need to go out, drive it around, and then tighten up the wedges on both sides. I think that the tires definitely look a lot better because the other ones were falling apart. I think it looks better set in a little bit. Well, it'll be better for me and what I want to do it for. I don't need it so wide. The next challenge is, if you peek up and see what's peeking around there, is the front. And I've been soaking it, just putting a little bit of penetrant in that gap, and it keeps disappearing. So I'm hoping it's soaking in there. And those front end won't be too solid. So I think that's probably going to do it for this video. They're going to probably be making another one tomorrow if we go get the A4T, and then I'll do another one showing the front end, getting that set in. I got new tie rods. Joe, when you watch us, you texted me earlier and you wanted me to look at those tie rods, and I am whooped. I don't even want to, I just want to put everything away and go in the house. One thing I do have that came today, Joe hooked me up with, is I have a new seat for the 950. So I'm going to take that off, and I've got the seat that Chris Quatman got me here, and here's a piece that I had made from another one that I did. It's the right width and the right length to replace the rusted out piece on there. So I got that, and then I've got the propane side panel here and one off a diesel that I'll cut down so that I'll have side panels to go around the propane tank. So that'll kind of complete that out when I get that done. So for tonight, this is it. I'm beat. That rim kicked my butt. And just for future reference, if you're doing this and you're not saving the rim, acetylene is your friend, and a Sawzall and whatever. Just cut it and be done with it. Don't heat and beat. Cut it and be done. That's my advice tonight. I would like to also thank my friends down in Waterford, Ohio, Mr. Matt and Miss Rena, for making fun of my dishwasher fluid statement I made, and that they gave me this. I think Matt said they call it bull snot. I don't know what it is, but it's very slippery, and definitely help mounting those tires. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, let me know what you think. And got a lot more videos coming. I get this A4T home. I'm going to be doing a bunch with it. And I got a lot more to do. I got to take the propane tank off this, put new valves in it and fittings, narrow up the front end. But I'm getting it closer to where I want it to be. So again, please like and subscribe. And until the next video, thanks. One last little kind of cool thing, I guess. My first propane tractor, my second propane tractor ever, set next to each other. Just realized that this is the first, well, this project got my propanes together. They're going to make good friends.